willkommen zu dieser speziellen Show hier diese Woche. Das ist natürlich unsere Tourismus Namibia Sendung. Mein Name ist Frank Steffen und ich führe Sie wieder mal durch diese Sendung. Wir sitzen hier oben am Chobe-Fluss, also der geht hier hinter mir weiter Richtung Zambezi-Fluss am Ende und dann natürlich weiter ins zentrale Afrika. Wie dem auch sei, wir bringen Ihnen auch hier wieder einige Topics, natürlich Destinations und eben to the point. Aber als erstes haben wir natürlich Topics. Ja, willkommen zurück und Topics, Themen der Woche. Da haben wir als erstes eine Giraffe ohne Punkte oder ohne Flecken, fleckenlose Giraffe. Die wurde jetzt hier unlängst in Chobe, im Chobe, bei Mount Echo gefunden und natürlich gab es einige Fotos dazu. Jeder hat sich natürlich darüber gefreut, zumal das ja neulich gerade in den USA, Tennessee, in dem Zoo passiert war. Und so sehr wie man sich natürlich darüber freut, gibt es natürlich auch andere Ansichten, denn wir haben natürlich die Giraffen Conservation Foundation, also GCF, wie wir sie nennen hier. Die sagt natürlich, so schön wie das ist und das ist was Sonderbares, haben wir trotzdem das Problem, dass es im Prinzip den ganzen Fokus wegnimmt von den Giraffen, wovon es ja letztendlich nur noch 117.000 in ganz Afrika gibt, wo dann jeder sich eben dann an dieser Sache erfreut, ohne dann festzustellen, wie viel mehr gemacht werden muss, damit unsere Giraffen überhaupt erhalten werden müssen oder können eigentlich. Ja, und das ist eben unsere fleckenlose Giraffe. Als nächstes haben wir dann unsere Heritage Site Eintrittsgelder. Heritage Sites, also will mir das Wort nicht einfallen, ich sage es Ihnen gleich. Wie dem auch sei, es geht eben darum, dass die Zutrittsgelder um einiges zugenommen haben. Und da sind natürlich gerade der Tourismussektor sehr verärgert, weil er das Gefühl hat, dass er teilweise übergangen wurde oder beziehungsweise auch der Rat, den sie vergeben hatten, einfach nicht angenommen wurde vom Umweltministerium, das ja diese Art Sachen reguliert. Und da geht es eben ganz einfach darum, dass jetzt teilweise zum Beispiel Twelfel-Fontänen ist jetzt sowas wie $270 pro Tourist, der von drüben kommt. Und war es vor 100 Namibia-Dollar. Und diese Eintrittsgelder eben derart in die Höhe geschnellt, dass jeder das Gefühl hat, dass das einfach nicht erträglich sind. Und immer wieder haben wir das Problem, dass es eben am Ende die Leute am Boden sind, die darunter leiden. Denn dadurch sind jetzt einige so weit, dass sie sagen, nee, dann gehen wir gar nicht mehr da rum. Denn zum Beispiel haben wir da einige, die da in Königstein, das ist ein internationaler Besucher, 2400 pro Tag. Und das war vor 1500 pro Tag. Und so geht das hin und her. Also ob das Twelfel-Fontänen sind, die Brandberg, Oppi-Koppi, ganz egal, wo man hingeht. Und so ist Delphine Ilunga, der ist eben der Vorsitzende von der Tour and Safari Association of Namibia, also DASA. Der hat einfach gesagt, nee, in diesem Falle ist es jetzt tatsächlich so, dass einige dieser Ziele einfach ausgelassen werden. Also man geht gar nicht mehr hin. Und das ist ja dann am Ende wirklich der Mann am Boden, der darunter leidet. Man versucht hier wieder zu schnell zu viel Geld zu machen. Ich weiß immer nicht. Man versucht von einem Tag zum anderen die Covid-Sache alles einzuholen. Ich denke nur nicht, dass das in Ordnung ist. Ja, und dann haben wir noch zuletzt einige Touristen, die überfallen wurden in diesen Wochen jetzt. Und das MEFT, also Umweltministerium und die Polizei sind natürlich jetzt schwer dabei und wollen unbedingt und schnell etwas daran ändern. Denn es gab ja nun immer wieder Leute, die mit ernsthaften Angriffen zu rechnen hatten, teilweise bewaffnete Leute, wenn ich sage bewaffnet, also tatsächlich also Gewehre und auch Revolver. Ansonsten gab es auch Panga, also alles Mögliche war mit dabei und da muss natürlich dringend was passieren, denn Romeo Muyunda, der Sprecher vom Umweltministerium, meinte, das wäre nicht ein Ausnahmefall mehr, sondern man hätte es wirklich hier oben im Caprivi teilweise erlebt und bis unten in den tiefen Süden und da muss natürlich dann dringend was geschehen. Ja, und das sind unsere Topics für diese Woche. Als nächstes haben wir Destinations. Ja, und wenn Sie im Hintergrund das Muhen hören, das ist wohl bei uns hier auf diesem, am Chobe sind hier natürlich die Rinder, die hier rings um uns weiden und machen. Und das ist halt Teil des Appeals. Ganz da hinten waren vorhin noch Zebras zu sehen. Das ist natürlich auf der Kamera nicht immer zu erfassen. Ja, als erstes, und gerade weil wir hier am Chobe sind, wenn man jetzt den Weg hier runter gehen würde, käme man an die Serondela Lodge. Da haben wir jetzt sehr viel Zeit verbracht in diesen Tagen. Wir sind bis rüber in Palila, die Insel, und sogar an den Quadri-Point, also das Vierländereck. Und haben eben, weil wir dabei sind, für Casa einiges zu bewegen jetzt, werden wir in diesen Tagen viel mehr darüber erzählen. Aber Serondela Lodge dachten wir, müssen wir Ihnen schon mal vorstellen. Und hier ist halt auch ein kleines Gespräch, das wir mit dem Eigentümer Simone Micheletti hatten. Yes, and we're sitting here at Serondela Lodge. Serondela Lodge being far, far in the east of what used to be known as the Caprivi, now the Zambezi region. With me is Simone Micheletti. Hi, Simone.
Hi, how are you, Frank?
I actually have to laugh because just now we had the wrong name first, but anyway. So Simone, welcome. Tell us a bit more about your Wild Waters group in Serondela specifically.
Right. Yeah, you mentioned the Wild Waters Group. The Wild Waters Group is basically the umbrella company of 3 lodges in a rest camp, which is the first one we've built more than 12 years ago. It's in Casa Lopala Attended Lodge. That it's in Vuparo Conservancy, close to Casa Lopala National Park. And then Jackalberry Camp, down deep in the park, is a concession deep in Casa Lopala Park. And then the last one will be Serondela Lodge. That was 2018 when we opened, just before COVID, perfect. And yeah. And we also do the marketing and manage all the bookings for the Vuparo Conservancy, the Rupara Race Camp.
Oh, okay, yeah. So all in all, quite busy. So how do you manage your day with all this? It's so nice to be everywhere, but it's obviously a lot of work.
No, a lot of time on the road, which gives me time to be on the phone. When I'm not on the road and on the phone, I'm with the staff or with the guests or on the computer. So no, it's a busy, especially the high season is busy. But yeah, that's the way we roll, eh?
And so how did Serondela come about? Because it's quite a way down. Well, actually not only down, it's down from Katima and then far into the bush going into the Bundus.
Don't discourage the clients to come here because now it's very far.
But that's what makes it special.
That's what makes it special. And that's what actually is the main idea behind Serondela, is to be enjoying the beautiful sightings and the amount of wildlife that you get here on the Chobe River because of the proximity of the Chobe National Park, but not being in that busy area of Kasane. So we are 25 km from Kasane, west of Kasane, on a Namibian island, seasonal island, and that makes it really special. That's why we call it the wild side of the Chobe.
Yeah. But that's exactly what I meant when I said it's far out. It's like in an area where for certainly some of our the experience was that you sometimes even have trouble to connect with anybody, but that's what makes it special. Many people actually are looking for that. I'm, for example, somebody you could quite easily tell me not to come with my cell phone. I won't. So how do you get people here in the winter and the summer?
Okay, so preferably the access point is still Kasane. It's easier. It's from Namibia, you just cross into Botswana and then we pick you up in Kasane via Ngoma. You can cross in. We do have a lot of clients also that start their journey from the Victoria Falls and they come in from Zimbabwe and then we pick them up also at Kasane. That's a preferred way because it's a beautiful cruise. We made it today, just on our way back. You can see hundreds of elephants and you name it. It's a 2-hour cruise coming in. And it's a beautiful, already you get into the deep wild of this part of the world. Alternatively, you can even drive, if you don't want to cross the border, you can drive by the flat plane, but I don't recommend that. It's a bit of a tricky way in and bumpy and dusty, as you also saw that. So preferably it's Kasane, it's easier. We do have the flood every year, it comes in and it's a beautiful, actually, it's amazing how all the landscape does change and we become an island. And we can even then pick up from the Namibian side of Nakabolego. But again, I would say preferably it's Kasane. It's just easier.
Yeah, and it's exactly why I asked the question, because at the end of the day, let's face it, we're in Namibia. So for Namibians, it's easy to cross over into Botswana these days with a normal ID, and vice versa. And then on the other hand, we saw today, because we did the trip, and it's the most marvelous trip you can think of. Elephants actually walked right through the river, totally submerged. All you could see is their trunks coming out, and these tiny elephants still doing it, and being close to their mom and somehow making it. It was this utterly surprising experience. But the greatest thing is especially the people also, because I mean, we saw at Kasane, everybody friendly. It was my impression that the border controls are easy to do.
Yeah.
Well, you never have any guarantee when you cross the border, depending on what your circumstances. But once you're into that, you're on the boat and you're down to relax.
Exactly. And being not a busy border, it's fast. You know,
Yeah.
we're not talking about like the Zimbabwe, Botswana border, the Kazangula border, the one heading to the falls. That's quite a busy border. Even
Yeah.
high season is very busy.
Yeah.
This border here, the Kasane Impalila or the Kasane Kasika border, it's very smooth. There's no one there. You just get there, you stamp, and you get out. Yeah.
Just quickly, as a final subject, you and your wife are obviously also concerned in schooling and all that. So tell us a bit more about that.
Well, it started as a necessity. We have 3 kids, and it started as a necessity. So we started homeschooling, didn't work, and then we started with the garage school, but the main aim, and then it became a proper school. So now almost 200 kids, and the school is called the Wild Kids Academy. It's a registered school with the Ministry of Education. It's a trust, so everything that the school does goes back into the school activities. And the main focus of the school is its environment and conservation and sustainability. So all extra classes that the kids do, all the excursions, all what is, they participate to a lot of events, and it's all about those topics. Because we realize that, especially in this region, I think there's not much that the kids have the opportunity to experience. So with our school, our kids tend to visit parks. We even take them to the desert, like Nadid. We went to the Nadid Center. We go to other areas, to the cheetah conservation farm. So we try to even go beyond the region to get them exposed to conservation, to get them to love nature, and one day to utilize nature probably in a sustainable way, to be the next...
That's because that's really the only chance we have to really make it work.
Yeah, because the new generation, the old one who could save these beauties here. And the way you start loving, firstly, you need to love nature to appreciate it, and then to utilize it in the right way and sustainable way. That's what we believe. That's what happened to us, me and Laura. We grew up loving nature with our parents that took us always around, and now we work with nature and conservation and tourism. So
yeah, and you actually do well in the process. I mean, well, in terms of personal satisfaction, all the stuff that comes along with it. So yes, that's Serondela Lodge. Definitely worth a visit, and I've already made up my mind that I'll bring my wife next time, and I welcome all of you to do the same. Until then.
Maybe you might have mentioned that we do have specials for Namibian in the off-season.
Oh, well, there you go. So a reason more to come.
Yeah. Thank you.
Ja, und dann das war natürlich Serondela, wo also gleich hier die Straße runter, will ich mal beinahe sagen, das Wasser runter. Und dann haben wir Oppi-Koppi. Oppi-Koppi ist dann natürlich eine Lodge, die ist da in der Nähe von Kamanjab, um genau zu sagen, sehr in der Nähe von Kamanjab, denn das sind knappe 300 Meter weg außerhalb der Stadt und ist eben auf dem Weg hoch, 70 Kilometer weg vom Galtenheck, das dann natürlich zu rechts abgeht in die Etosha-Pfanne. Und da haben wir natürlich Ihnen auch was mitgebracht. Gucken Sie es an.
Today we're visiting Oppi-Koppi at Kamanjab, where we met manager Musita de Souza. Musita describes Oppi-Koppi as an oasis in the desert, an ideal destination to relax and revitalize before driving to Etosha, Windhoek, Damaraland, Kahukuland, Ipuphu Falls, or even Swakopmund. Oppi-Koppi is located in the northwest of Namibia, about 70 kilometers from the western entrance or the Galten Gate of Etosha. She says they have a variety of rooms and 8 camping spots to choose from. The campsites are equipped with a braai, power outlets, a fully shaded lunch area with a table and sink, and a water tap. The water is from a natural spring and therefore safe for drinking. For campers staying at the campsites or guide rooms, Oppi-Koppi has an ablution block with clean toilets and hot showers. The restaurant boasts an a la carte menu. A popular menu item is their mega pizza, which needs to be experienced personally. At 61 centimeters in diameter, there's also a competition that is linked to finishing one of your own. There are a number of activities offered at Oppi-Koppi, from simply enjoying the natural surroundings on a short walking trail to taking part in a cultural excursion to a local Himba village, which is located around 2 kilometers from the lodge towards Ruakana, accompanied by a local guide. Then there are the Piet Albert's rock engravings, which are 4 kilometers from Kamanjab towards Uchu. Here you can enjoy a relaxing walk through a beautiful part of nature where thousands of years ago the Bushman Society carved drawings into the rocks. Finally, Oppi-Koppi also offers a guided sundowner tour on individual quad bikes, from where you can look out for game while watching the day come to an end. Guests from other lodges in the area are welcome to contact Oppi-Koppi to undertake these activities as well. The restaurant is open for lunch bookings, with guests that can contact the group at 067 33 0040 or info at oppi-koppi-kamanjab.com.
Die eienaars van die lodge is net so ongelooflik. En ek kan vir julle almal sê, almal hier probeer mense soos familie laat voel, nie soos gaste nie. Jy sal nooit alleen voel, want almal probeer interact met almal. So, julle is welkom om navraag te doen. Julle kan ons ook e-mail. Ons e-mailadres is info@oppi-koppi-kamanjab.com.
Ja, und das sind unsere Destinations für diese Woche. Also da hatten wir Serondela Lodge und dann natürlich Oppi-Koppi. Schöne Ausflugsziele, weit ab. Aber wenn Sie es irgendwie sich einrichten können, dann sollten Sie es auf jeden Fall benutzen. Das sind einmalige Stellen. Ja, und dann haben wir natürlich jetzt noch To the Point. Bei To the Point geht es in dieser Woche eben darum, wir hatten ja nun diese Klimakonferenz, die einiges anging, und da hatten wir dann eben auch den Geschäftsleiter eben von dem Environmental Investment Fund, also das ist der Umweltfonds, Benedikt Lebanda, und er war einer von denen, die an einer Podiumdiskussion teilnahmen. Ging natürlich auch um unsere Zentralbank und die Banken insgesamt, also einige Finanzkräfte, die da eben sich ein bisschen zu ausgelassen haben. Und da gab es eben Gespräche zu, und die können Sie gerne mitverfolgen. Hier ist eine Videoaufnahme.
I think to appreciate our actions, the global actions against climate change, one has to understand the rationale behind that. And that is extremely important. One is that the atmosphere's carrying capacity has been exceeded in terms of holding greenhouse gases. So the current emission in the atmosphere is 416 parts per million. The carrying capacity at pre-industrial revolution, that is in 1870, was 250 parts per million. So now we've exceeded it to 416 parts per million. What does that mean? It means more extreme weather patterns. Parts per million is the number of molecules concentrated in the atmosphere, and that results in dry air. And that dry air has got an effect on climate change and extremes. So that's number one. Number two, the consumption patterns of developed countries are extremely unsustainable, especially the USA. The way the USA is consuming natural resources will need about 4 to 5 Earth planets to be sustainable. Then number three is the population growth. We continue to grow. We're pressing more pressure on natural resources. All these calamities have led to an increase of 1.1 degrees Celsius since 1870 to 2015. And for the world to reduce the global warming, we need to hold it below 1.5 degrees global average warming. But what is most scary is that the SADC, the Southern Africa country, is the most vulnerable in the world. So at a global average of 1.5 degrees, it means SADC is at 2 degrees Celsius, even more alarming. So there's a need to really respond to the impacts of climate change and the global warming at large. Getting back to what sectors are responding, especially the financial sector from the sustainability point of view. Last year, the global sustainable green issuance stood at 1.5 trillion US dollars. That is green bonds, social bonds, and so forth. And that was a reduction from 1.7 trillion US dollars in 2021. And this was influenced by the additional ESG requirements, the unfavorable macroeconomic conditions, but most importantly, greenwashing in the United States. In that, we saw of Namibia, of the Namibia Central Bank have touched on. And I want to share some experiences and lessons of what we're doing on blended financing in Namibia. We have established an entity called SDG Namibia 1, which is a fund, and that's a blended financing platform to invest towards green hydrogen assets and derivatives. And how we went about it is that in 2021, the government of Namibia and the Dutch-Netherlands government entered into a bilateral agreement with the objective of supporting the Namibian government to develop its green hydrogen ambition. And one of the support in that bilateral agreement was to establish an SDG Namibia 1, which is a blended financing facility. And to address issues of capacities to manage such complex facility, we partnered, when I say we, the Environmental Investment Fund, partnered with a Dutch-based expert entity, fund managers, which is called the Climate Fund Managers. And now we've incorporated this SDG Namibia 1, and it is managed by the Namibia Green Hydrogen Fund Managers. And the office, we just opened the office in Windhoek about 2 weeks ago for that fund managers. The idea is to mobilize at least 1 billion euros by June 2025. With leverage as well as capital recycling, we see that adding up to about 3 billion euros in terms of investments over time. Within the blended financing structure that we have, we do have 3 different funds. We do have a development fund, which is grant capital of 100 million USD, but we've secured 40 million so far, and we're busy fundraising for another 60 million USD. Then there is a construction equity fund, which has got 3 different tranches of different risk return profiles, the senior debt, junior debt, etc. So each investor can participate where it really confirms in terms of risk return. Then we've got the operational fund, where it's more of a fixed income fund where institutional investors such as pension fund, commercial banks, bonds also participate. And that is a really good arrangement in terms of transfer of skills, managing the fund, etc. And just in closing, I think climate change cuts across all sectors and everyone has got a role to play. Science tells us that we are entering a 6th wave of extinction, so we need to act fast and quickly. It sounds scary, but that's the reality. That's what science tells us. And I would really recommend to central banks even to open small units, just to facilitate some of the low-hanging fruits that we're seeing. We're seeing a lot of debt for nature swaps, for example, taking shape around the world. where you can, swap your debt, and most of our countries are heavily indebted. We are seeing carbon markets, taking more traction on the continent, and Africa has got the biggest possibility and opportunity for carbon trading, and that again, is good for forex for our countries. Those are just a few of low-hanging opportunities that we can look at.
Thank you so much. Kavan Hanyako?
Ja, und das ist to the point dieser Woche. Also damit sind wir am Ende der Show angelangt. Ist natürlich alles ein bisschen windig, schwieriger hier. Ich hoffe trotzdem, dass wir Ihnen einigermaßen eine gute Show bringen konnten. Es ist die Umgebung, wo wir nun mal drin sind, und so hatten wir wenigstens eine schöne Live-Sendung. Ich wünsche Ihnen viel Spaß und ein schönes Wochenende noch, und wir sehen uns wieder in einer Woche. Bis dann. Tschüss.